Hi, Laurie. Thank you so much for coming on today and talking to us about OLITA. I'm really excited to sort of get to know your story and get to know how you came to this problem and develop the solution. But before we get into all of that, let's start with your background. Tell
Okay.
me a little bit about sort of how you sort of started your career and what, what kind of work were you involved in?
Oh, hey, Deval, thank you so much for having me. And yes, I did start off in a completely unrelated industry. I worked in consumer banking. I worked at JP Morgan Chase and Citibank in New York City, and then went to stay-at-home mom status for a good 9 years. I call it my 9-year maternity leave, and then went back into finance, but at the other end, microfinance. So doing very
Oh,
small
okay.
loans to small businesses, but really got wonderful exposure to lifestyle businesses as well as businesses that really start to take off and get acquired. And I started my business from my experience with going to the beach often with my kids. And what happens with little kids and sand at the beach is that sand goes everywhere, literally everywhere. And
Hmm.
so that I started working with different formulations of a body powder to wick away sand and moisture from skin and just leave skin super clean and fresh after going to the beach. So started with that, and then we got into other products that we realized there was a lack of really clean sunscreen in the marketplace, and so went on to develop um, mineral, reef safe, and organic sunscreens, as well as after sun body serum. And we also have some lip balms. So that's kind of the evolution of the product line.
Got it. Got it. Okay, so we'll get into all of the products in a minute. I want to just dig into the background first. With micro lending, tell me a little bit about what you did and how, what type of companies you were investing in, just so we understand that
Yeah,
part of your
yes.
life.
Yeah, so I worked with a small nonprofit, CDFI, in the Bay Area, and worked with just a whole bunch of different businesses throughout the 9 Bay Area counties. Lifestyle companies we consider to be companies that are just really looking for a career. They're not looking for an exit. It's like your local dry cleaner. It's like your local bakery. They're looking
Mm,
to make a living, not a big exit. And then other types of companies, all the way to larger brands that do have kind of big exits and do become acquired. And so there's quite the range, but a lot of the big brands that start off super small, and they'll get a microloan for $25,000, and the next thing you know, they're in national distribution in
wow.
20,000 retail doors. So
Right.
everything in between. So just got a lot of great exposure through that experience, learning about the entire ecosystem around small business, from everything from the technical assistance to the legal entity status and the different options that there are with that, to really how you grow a product line or even launch a product in the first place, and
Right.
how to market it successfully, what you need to pay other people to do for you versus what you can effectively do yourself. So just really had, I would say the 7 years that I worked for the microlender had a great education in how to be a founder.
That's fantastic. So you obviously understand the financial end of things. You understand what it takes to run a business. So such a fantastic background to sort of bring to a new startup. So let's
Mhm.
talk. Let's start talking about OLITA. You sort of got started very early on, but you were sort of doing it more as a hobby, if you would, if part time, developing the products. What
Right.
was the initial idea? What were you trying to achieve?
Right. So, it was really just trying to come up with this kind of cool product that I noticed it did not exist in the marketplace, and it really works. it just, I mean, and that's the comment that everybody says when they try Beach Be Gone, is like, oh my gosh, this really works. And so it was just really about kind of trying out that particular product, and didn't necessarily set out to be a beauty brand or a sun care brand. And it's just one of those, you know, kind of the evolution when you see a need in the marketplace and you say, well, I can do that. And, you know, you just kind of play around and experiment and work with different labs. And I've worked with different co-packers and contract manufacturers around the United States. All of our products are made in the United States. And as I mentioned, you know, just really looking for clean sun care, because, you know, as a mom, you know, you're always looking for the best products and food, beverages, you know, organic milk, et cetera, for your kids and your family. Well, it shouldn't stop with food and beverages. We also consume products through our skin, which is our biggest organ. So that's why I went on this quest to try to create the cleanest sunscreen and the cleanest sun care that you can possibly buy. And, you know, a couple of the things that we're very proud of is that we have certified organic sunscreens. We also have EWG verified products. We also have the shortest ingredients list out there. So we're kind of like the cleanest of the clean. And, you know, that's really the genesis, and the impetus was definitely my kids and my family. And as I heard somebody say, you know, you spend $8 to $10 on a shake or a cold pressed juice or something like that. Don't cut corners with your sunscreen. Make sure that's clean as well, because we do absorb everything that we put on our skin, whether it's good for you or not so good for you or toxic for you. So that's a bit of our founder journey story.
Got it. So break those things down a little bit more, because you mentioned EWG. Well, I personally don't know what that means. So help me understand what some of those things are in a bad sunscreen versus a good sunscreen.
Perfect. So EWG is the Environmental Working Group, and it's an organization, a nonprofit that acts as a bit of a watchdog to evaluate the toxicity or the better for you products. So they do that with vegetables and consumable food, beverages, cosmetics, personal care products, household cleaning products. So they really do look into everything that a human being comes into contact with. And they actually rate products from their scale is 1 to 10, and all of the OLITA products have a #1 rating, #1 being the cleanest, 10 being the most toxic. So we're very proud of that. And we work very closely with them, actually. We work very closely with EWG in sampling. And also they do a lot of lobbying to Washington to see if they can influence the industry to become cleaner. And so we've been involved with them for almost 5 years. And we have products that are EWG verified. And that means that we have ethical manufacturing processes, and we also have clean ingredients. They've looked into all of our ingredients and they verify that they are indeed clean. And then we will be, I think this is going to be our 2nd year that we will have products in their Skin Deep program, as well as in their 2021 Safest Sunscreen Guide. So that's what EWG is.
Okay. Fantastic. No, thank you for that background. And as far as chemicals go, this gets to the second part of that question. What are the chemicals that are in the standard sunscreen that are really not good for us? And so what are you taking out and what are you replacing that with?
Great question. So the oxybenzone, and that's one of the biggest kind of culprits of being harmful to humans, especially children. and thought to be an endocrine blocker and just generally toxic long term. And oxybenzone is also known to be very destructive to coral reefs. And being a scuba diver, I just love, diving a beautiful wall and just a gorgeous, thriving, living coral reef. Also, coral reefs are one of the most fragile ecosystems on our planet, and they're also the first line of defense against hurricanes. So it's just, there's such an important component to not just our oceans, but to land life as well. So those, oxybenzone is one of the biggest culprits. There are others as well. And what we have instead of it being a chemical sunscreen, is that we have zinc oxide is our only active ingredient in all of our sunscreens. And that is a mineral sunscreen. So it actually creates a physical barrier versus chemical that will react with your skin chemistry.
Okay, perfect.
Yes.
So I think that one thing you highlighted, I think, is very important, that this is not just good for you, but it's also good for the environment.
Correct.
So it sort of serves, your product serves dual purpose in that, which is fantastic. So now let's talk about the timeline a little bit. Like I said, you've been at this for some time. Initially, it was more of a hobby, part-time thing.
Right.
You sort of went into full-time sort of mode, in 20, I think you came out with the product in 2015, right?
Yeah, we went into market 2015, and it was just definitely a side hustle for me. And so not getting all of my love and attention until I decided to go full-time in early 2019. So it's just been my full-time business really for the last 2 years.
So let's talk about that period a little bit. When you did come out with the product, how were you trying to sell it? What was the initial sort of, were you trying to sell it? Maybe that's a better question. Mm-hmm. What was that initial period like?
Yeah, so just, again, as a side hustle, trying to sell it, driving samples up and down the coast of California, talking about it and, selling it because it's a new product category. It sold very well, and, people really love taking it on because it's new and different. It definitely sells so much better when you're closer to the beach and to the sand because people get it and it feels like more of an actual problem than, say, it will sell in the middle of the country. But so just, it was just me selling it kind of door to door, really working the local market. And then obviously on our website, selling a lot more and just, trying to do, kind of word of mouth, social media, that kind of thing to make people even aware of our products. So that's how it started. And then, fast forward to 2019, I attended a sun care show and met a lot of buyers across, all kinds of retail, small, large retail, online, brick and mortar. And that particular show was incredibly successful. And, I went there with the sunscreens that I had, which were, I think it was just one sunscreen that I had at the time, and the 3 after sun products. And I brought the Beach Begone along as kind of like, well, why not? And that turned out to be the biggest hit of the show. So
wow,
you never know. So now we have gotten into UNFI, CNS Wholesale. We have another very local distributor, so we're available wholesale through either direct or distribution. Being a certified woman-owned business has also been very helpful to open doors because we're able to participate in diverse supplier programs. So that's been wonderful. Being on Range Me is great because buyers are able to discover us. I hired a new sales director and some sales reps in key markets like Hawaii. And that's been very helpful to just really get our products out to buyers in wholesale markets. We also did a pretty extensive research study where we discovered that most people, 70%, will buy their sun care products in mass retailer, grocery store, or drug. So 70% are buying it in brick and mortar. 30% obviously are buying it, online, kind of more direct. And right now we are 90-10 wholesale, retailed, or direct to consumer. And we're looking to get that more in line with how people buy their sunscreen. So we're looking to get that to 70-30. And we've hired a new digital advertising agency to kind of relaunch our website, make it fresh and a little bit, a couple more layers of sophistication. And we are also doing a big paid marketing advertising campaign launching this spring. So we're really looking to have much greater awareness, both in Facebook, Instagram, all your big social media channels, as well as Amazon. We are available on Amazon as well.
So you've been very busy for the last 2 years or so.
That's right.
But in the middle of that, we had 2020 and a global pandemic. Let's talk about that period, because it seems like you just started to sort of pick up steam and then you get hit with a lockdown. How did you cope with that? How did OLITA survive through the lockdown?
Right. So we just really stocked up quite a bit in the first quarter. I want to say January, February, we got a lot of new production runs in to our warehouse just in time for the lockdown. So that was really rough, because we did have a lot of purchase orders that were, commitments that were rescinded because they weren't open. And we should have grown probably 3 times to what we did, but we still had a massive growth year. And that's because we turned to a lot more online marketplaces. The COVID pandemic did create a whole new need for a lot of online marketplaces. And, you have your monolithic Amazon channel, which we were already on, and we saw sales go up with that. And then there were a lot of other marketplaces, niche marketplaces that were created. So we're on quite a few natural food, beverage, and consumer product goods websites, women marketplaces, just all kinds. And then another place where we have participated a lot more is in subscription boxes. So the subscription boxes will curate different kinds of products that go out to their clients based on what their profile is. And so that's been really exciting, and a great place that we grew in 2020. So we grew a lot, but we would have grown more had it not been for the pandemic, because, for example, Hawaii was one of our biggest marketplaces. And we went from probably 20 orders a year to 1. So that was just really tough. And, clearly Hawaii has suffered as a marketplace with their tourism industry, et cetera. And so I feel like we're kind of an ancillary sector that has suffered because of tourism being so shut down and travel being so restricted.
Right. So I think you also used the time wisely. Obviously sales suffered, but you, compared to previous year, you still did great. But you used the time wisely sort of to build out your product line as well, right? So
that's right.
Talk to us about all of the products that you now have beyond just sunscreen.
Right. Yeah. So we did use the time to vet and select a new ad agency. We used the time to do some market research, where we got a lot of great consumer feedback, both qualitative and quantitative. And we also, like you were saying, just expanded our product line because we listened to what our consumers were saying. We developed 2 new organic sunscreens that are going to come out in April. One is a tinted golden amber tinted organic sunscreen lotion, SPF 30. So it's just really great for people of color, people with darker complexions who don't want sunscreen, but don't want a kind of that white cast on their skin. And so that's coming out. And then it's also wonderful for lighter skin complected people who want a bit of, they want their sunscreen to act like a bronzer. So it's kind of serving two different markets. And we're also coming out with our baby organic SPF 50 sunscreen lotion. So it's made with the cleanest stuff for new delicate skin, and that's also coming out in April. So we're up to 23 SKUs. And so we have, besides our sunscreen lotions, we have sun sticks, tinted, non-tinted. All of them only have zinc oxide as the active ingredient. And then After Sun is just amazing body serum that goes on it's a very light oil. It's like a tall drink of water for your skin. And we make it with aloe vera oil, coconut oil, and a lot of wonderful plant and flower extracts. So it's incredibly nourishing and replenishing for skin whether it's winter dry skin or a lot of sun dehydration to your skin. So that's what is one of our very best-selling product lines is the After Sun. And then we have that in fragrance-free, cool coconut and soothing citrus. And we talked a lot about the Beach Be Gone, the body powder that wicks away sand and moisture. And then we do have lip balms, OLITA lips with SPF 15, vitamin E, and we have 5 different exotic flavors that also come in a shimmer. So definitely leaning more toward the feminine consumer with our lip balms, but we also have a mineral zinc one that's really great for anybody. So that's
Fantastic.
our product line.
That's a pretty extensive product line.
It is.
What are your, you mentioned the key markets, you talked about California up and down the coast, you talked about Hawaii. What areas are you really focusing in on? Because like you said, this product is not necessarily going to work across the country or across the world. What's your focus right now? And maybe over the next year, where would you like to go?
Right. So we have, I would say Beach Be Gone is probably the only product that I would say is more appropriate to coastal areas where you just have a lot of sand or salt water, because salt water makes sand very sticky and adhere to your skin. So that's why. But we're very focused on the West Coast of the United States and getting into regional markets, regional grocery and pharmacies, as well as Hawaii, where we're already in quite a few chains there. And also Florida and the Caribbean is a really hot market for us. Another place where obviously there's a ton of coral reefs. So they're very, like Hawaii, that has legislatively banned chemical sunscreens from sale there. The Caribbean and many island nation states, as well as the Keys, or just really Puerto Rico, looking to ban chemical sunscreens as well. So we're well positioned to take off really well. I'm talking to distributors throughout the Caribbean to get our products into more locations there. So that's exciting. And but for all of our products that have anything to do with sun, clearly it's going to do better in climates and environments where you have sunnier days. But we're also into the mountain states where there's a lot of sunny days, like Colorado and Arizona, where you have, a lot of sunny days and more of an arid, dry climate. So that's where the body serum comes in so well. So we are in UNFI, as I mentioned, for our national distributor, and we're working with them to try to get us into some of the markets that our product would do the most, either because they have more sun days a year than other markets, and also if the consumer is more concerned about environmental purchasing. And so you'll see that definitely in California and Hawaii, to some extent, a lot more in Florida, where there's just this growing consumer concern about what is happening with the climate, and just being more aware and concerned about what we're putting on our skin. as another way that we absorb and consume products.
Got it. Okay, perfect. So I think I understand the progression. Now I want to talk about the numbers a little bit. You know, if
Sure.
people want specific numbers, they can obviously go on to Startup Share platform and look at all of the specific numbers. But from 2019 to 2020, you're about 3x. Is that about right? Your sales?
From 2019 to 2020, we were about 8x.
8x. Oh, okay. I
Mm-hmm.
stand corrected. Okay,
Yep.
fantastic. So from 2020, and that was obviously, you could have done much better. You said, you know, it was a
Right.
pandemic year. So 2020 to 2021, what's the best case scenario? Or let's start with the base case scenario. What do you hope to achieve in 2021?
Yeah, I mean, we'll definitely do so much better than 2020. I mean, travel and just vacations are coming back, and so you're just
Right.
going to have a lot more sun care being purchased this year. So, but we're really looking to have another 8x year, and this is
Fantastic. Okay.
because we've already onboarded with the national distributors, and we're just pitching a lot more. And again, we're doing a lot more to reach end consumers through our
Mm-hmm.
marketing and advertising. So we are 100% sure that we're going to have a pretty big breakout year in 2021.
Fantastic. So all of the folks who had sort of canceled or shelved their POs in 2020, are those people coming back? Are they renewing and getting new orders put in?
Yes. So we, and the good thing about any kind of buying or purchase orders is when you see multiple purchases come in again and again and again. And so that's,
Right.
just proof that your product is being well received in the marketplace, and that the end consumer really likes you. So we're seeing that with, we're on FSA Store. They're one of our biggest accounts, and they, we met them at the Sun Care show back in 2019, and we've been with them and growing with them. Purchase orders keep growing in size, and we do expect to get into some of the mass retailers with some tests this spring and summer. So we're excited about that. And again, just don't want to grow in a way that is not sustainable. We want to grow in a way that we can meet demand. We have great supply chain, but we need to ensure that we can manage the timing so that we don't have POs that we cannot fulfill.
Right, exactly. Fantastic. So let's talk about the sort of the longer vision for the company
Yes.
and for OLITA. Everybody's focused on the 3 to 5 years because they also, investors obviously want to know sort of what their exit plan will be. What's your vision for OLITA for 3 to 5 years?
So we're looking to grow with 3 key accounts that would represent approximately 600 doors per year, and not just and also maintain those doors and those stores year over year with continued repurchases. And what all key accounts will ask you to do is support their purchase orders with advertising, so that they're not walking past your brand on the way to buy somebody else, but they're
Right.
definitely coming in to buy OLITA, or they see it on the shelf and they're like, oh yes, I've heard of that. Oh, that's the clean brand, And so we're really looking to create more brand awareness, get into 3 key accounts and 20 lower tier accounts year over year over the next 3 years. And at the same time, as I mentioned, we're looking to become to the extent that we possibly can, become a bit of a cult brand and just really have people gravitate towards us, because we have 4 key pillars that we lean on heavily as a company. One being family. That's how we started.
Mm-hmm.
And number 2 being fun, because we don't want sun care to be like a chore, but we want you to enjoy putting it on and make sure that it's easy to apply, and it's not going to give you any kind of acne or rashes or breakouts or any of that stuff, but just fun, because it's all about outdoor adventures and fun in the sun, and we want to create that kind of brand experience. So family, fun, trust. That's when we talk about kind of our clean ingredients, and we talk about, having EWG verified products and certified organic products. So we want consumers to be able to trust our brand. And again, our key demographic is moms and families and kids. So we're just really, trying to be a brand that moms can trust. And then also, we have to, of course, mention protection of skin, protection of the planet. So those are our 4 key core values. And so we're really trying to drive that messaging across with all of our branding, with our campaigns, be it social media, email campaigns, so that we become recognized as that gold standard in clean sun care. And then who knows, we'll move on to maybe some other product categories. But what we would love to happen for our big exit would be to be acquired, to go through an acquisition somewhere, in the 3 to 5 year range after growing as a super recognizable, authentic, trustworthy brand, to, possibly a wellness brand that doesn't have a sun care category, or, even the competition who wants to, get into the organic and natural sector of sun care, and they don't have it yet, or maybe they don't have that brand recognition.
Got it. Yeah, so this has been a fantastic conversation. We sort of covered a lot of sort of things from you and from the company. Is there anything important that I've left off? Is there anything that we should cover and I've sort of failed to mention?
Well, let's see. I think we've covered a lot of stuff. We're our tagline. We have 2 that we work with a lot. Is one is we make skin happy. That kind of goes back to family and fun. And our other tagline is safe on your skin, safe on the planet, and that goes to the trust and protection pillars. Mm-hmm. So we're just super excited with the brand new baby and tinted sunscreens that are coming out. We're very excited for travel to resume, for vacations to happen again. So we
all are. We're waiting for that.
yeah, we're all ready for that, right?
Absolutely.
And yeah. So really, I think we covered it quite well. We're looking to do our seed raise in this quarter right now, and we're looking to just basically get some capital injection so that we can scale the way we know we can, and that all of the spend would go to hiring people so that we can, especially in operations, that's where we need a lot more help. We would spend a lot on marketing, again, to get to end consumers and raise brand awareness and become the cult brand that we want to become. We need to do that. And of course, we would need to spend a very good chunk on inventory to keep up with demand and keep our supply in check.
Fantastic. You're well on your way. So that's fantastic. I'm really excited for you and what you're going to accomplish with this company. I hope to continue the conversation, stay in touch with you so you can sort of update us. And then for all the investors that are listening, please reach out to Laurie directly and get in touch with her and ask her any questions that may come up from this conversation and from your research. So with that, Laurie, I think we'll wrap it up. Thank you so much for coming on today and answering all my questions and sharing all your knowledge and experience with us. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. It's been such a pleasure. Thank you.
All right, great.